My name is Rose, and I never thought the cruelest betrayal of my life would come from my own daughter. They say blood is thicker than water, but what no one tells you is that sometimes blood is the sharpest blade. It began with words I will never forget. My daughter looked me in the eyes, her face stone cold, her voice steady. This villa is theirs now. You're not allowed in it anymore. She said theirs, like I was a stranger, as if her husband's family, people I had barely known, had more claim to my home than I did. My villa, my life's work, every brick, every arch, every tile chosen with love, built not from inheritance or luck, but from years of sacrifice, and she gave it away, with no hesitation, with no shame. I stood there, my hand trembling on the gate, my heart splitting open inside my chest. This was the villa where I had raised her, where I had stayed awake through sleepless nights when she was sick, where birthdays were celebrated, where dreams were nurtured, and now she stood on the steps of that very home, looking at me not as a mother, but as an intruder. I could have screamed, I could have begged, but instead I smiled, a smile so calm, so terrifying in its silence, that even she shifted uneasily. She mistook that smile for defeat. She thought she had won. What she didn't know was that at that moment, she had awakened a storm inside me, and storms do not retreat. I walked away without a word. Behind me, I could hear laughter, her husband's family celebrating their victory, like vultures circling over what they thought was their feast. But they didn't know me. They didn't know the woman they had just declared war against. For days, I stayed silent. They thought I had accepted it. They thought I was gone, erased from the very walls I built. But I was not planning on begging for a place at their table. I was preparing something else, something that would leave a scar on their hearts deeper than any cut. My daughter had forgotten that everything in that villa, the documents, the deeds, the foundation, had passed through my hands. She forgot the woman who once built a life from nothing knows how to tear one down. Revenge is not always about fire and fury. Sometimes revenge is patience. A smile today, a reckoning tomorrow. And so I prepared, quietly, carefully, methodically. They would not see me coming, and when it came, it would not be with noise, but with silence so loud it would echo through their lives forever. Weeks later, they threw a gathering in the villa. My daughter's husband's family, their relatives, their friends, all filling the home I built, all boasting about how it was theirs now. They posted pictures, flaunted it online, showing off what they thought they owned. That night, as they toasted in my dining room, sitting under the chandelier I had chosen with my own hands, I made my move. They heard a sound, faint at first, then louder. The power cut out, plunging them into darkness. Confusion swept through the rooms. Whispers turned to nervous laughter. But then the doors locked, every exit sealed, every window bolted from the outside. They were trapped. And then, slowly, the lights flickered back on. Not the warm lights they were used to, but a cold, sharp glow. On the walls, projected across the living room, were images, pictures from the past. Birthdays, family dinners, my daughter as a child, smiling with cake on her face, hugging me tight. Holidays we shared, moments of joy. One by one, the walls told the story of my love, my sacrifice, my years of devotion. They watched in silence, their faces pale, and then the final images. Me, alone. Me, packing boxes. Me, standing at the gates of the villa, smiling as I walked away. The very moment they thought they had won. My voice filled the room, not with anger, but with calm, devastating clarity. You thought this villa was yours, but it was never just walls and bricks. It was my love, my sacrifice, my story. You can sit in my chairs, you can eat at my table, you can sleep in my rooms, but you will never own what you did not build. And from this day forward, every corner of this house will remind you not of victory, but of betrayal. They sat frozen, my daughter's eyes wide, her lips trembling. Her husband's family looked at each other, uneasy. Their celebration turned to dread. They had wanted my villa, but what they got instead was a curse. Not a curse of superstition, but of memory. Because every time they walked those halls, they would hear my voice. Every time they touched those walls, they would feel the weight of what they had stolen. I didn't need to raise a hand. I didn't need to set fire to their feast. I gave them something worse. I gave them guilt. I gave them fear. I gave them the realization that they were nothing more than thieves eating crumbs from a table they did not set. And my daughter, she couldn't even look at me when I left that night because she knew the smile I gave her was not surrender. It was a warning. And so I walked away once more, not empty, but victorious. Because true revenge is not about destroying what they took, it's about haunting them with the weight of their own betrayal. And every day they live in that villa, they will live with me. They will live with the memory of the woman they cast aside, the mother they tried to erase, the storm they thought was silence. And that storm will never leave them. So when my daughter said, "This villa is theirs now," she was right, on paper. But in reality, it will always be mine. Because ownership is not about deeds or signatures. Ownership is about blood, sacrifice, and memory. And those are things no one can steal. I smiled because I knew they thought they won a home. But what they inherited was a ghost. And I am that ghost, the one they will never forget.